Alright, so 3, 2, 1. Hello everyone, I will be your host Flubb, and welcome to the Flupdate, a show where we keep you up to date on all things Dota. We got a lot of things on the list tonight, we got a lot of great things. So first off, we're going to be talking about team drops. So basically people that are being dropped off from their previous teams, or maybe just walking away from their teams in general because they don't think that they're doing so hot. So just some minor change ups here and there. We're going to be having a Dream League here pretty soon. Dream League Season 7 is going to be up and coming here in next weekend. So we'll be talking a little bit about that, telling you what to expect from there. We also have the World Cyber Arena. It's a game that it's not a game. It is a tournament that I have kind of misappropriated this past couple weeks. I kind of slipped under the radar because it was a Southeast Asia tournament, but it still has a lot of good Dota, and I haven't been able to keep up with it as much as I would like to because I really only got to see most of the games today, and I was watching through a lot of them before even getting on right now. So I'll have some information for you there about what to expect from that tournament, and tell you what to be expecting about tomorrow. Actually, 8 hours from now. So we'll be talking about that here in a little bit. We'll also be talking about Virtus.Pro Contracts. Excuse me, just come down with a cold or something. Virtus.Pro Contracts are going to be. It's kind of a hot debate not hot debate, but a hot topic this week. So we're going to be diving a little bit into that, telling you guys, keeping you up to date on that stuff. We're also going to be talking about a neat little Courier Bug that I found, and it's actually, I can't take credit for it. I found it on Reddit, and it's something that I thought could be useful, and I could kind of describe when it is actually probably the best use. I didn't like what the video had to show people about. They used it for refilling bottles, and we'll kind of get to it as time goes on. I'll show you in game. So we got a lot of things, so let's just dive right into it. We're going to be talking about team drops first. So the team drops that are important to note are Maden and nongrata have now departed from Team Effect. It's not a lot of surprise when teams at this point aren't doing so hot. They're going to have a little bit of change-ups here and there, try to figure out who's the weak link on their teams. I don't necessarily think these two players are, but it's bound to happen whenever you start losing a lot of tournaments, especially not getting into TI. Gabbi is now leaving from the team Clutch Gamers as well, which comes as a bit of a surprise to me. They have been doing very well in the past few months. They didn't really get as well as highly seeded as I expected them to, winning all of these different qualifiers, but they easily beat a lot of the qualifiers and got through into a lot of different tournaments. So seeing a switch up is a I think it's a decision that's either, if he truly left, then it's maybe he just didn't like the team, didn't like the flow of it. But there's a lot of really good potential on that team. So I'm interested to see what really happened. The Dream League is what we're going to move into next, Dream League 7, and that is a new upcoming tournament that we are going to be talking about. It's actually on the 22nd and the 23rd was when it will be taking place. It is a tournament in Atlanta, so it's a tournament in Atlanta, and I'm sorry, I was laughing because Kimbrel's talking to me in the chat here, talking about the Game of Thrones goodness, so he's watching there. The tournament will be held in Atlanta, like I was saying, and that's Atlanta, Georgia, not Atlanta, the country. Georgia, wow, I got that totally screwed up. Oh, man. That's okay. Prize pool is now $175,000, so decent prize pool. Obviously, for Dream League, it's actually pretty dang good for this year. Hopefully, this is kind of things to come with the whole new switch up of tournaments and how the pricing will be done. I'm very excited about that, and this is a good show for that. The format for this tournament will be a classic Dota 2 tournament. It is double elimination, and it is best of 3 with a best of 5 grand finals. We have 4 teams that are on the docket for this game, for this tournament, and they are Team Secret, Team Liquid, Vega Squadron, and Planet Odd. And this is kind of what I wanted to, why I brought up this tournament, is that not only does it have a lot of good players on it, it has a lot of good teams on it. Team Secret and Team Liquid are obviously going to TI, and we have Planet Odd, who is a odds-on favorite to possibly get there. So we have a lot of potential within this lineup anyway. And Vega Squadron was also one as well. But Planet Odd and Vega Squadron have nothing to lose by revealing strats at this point, and kind of can play on a leg up on these better teams. That I would say Team Liquid and Team Secret have definitely proven themselves better teams at this point, and it's interesting to see that clash when teams kind of go into a hiding their secrets phase, NTI their playing down phase, and they go up against these teams that don't quite match up maybe in gameplay or in strats, but when they have that handicap, it's cool to see that matchup that happens and see if that little bit of a handicap, if they're just on the edge of being tier 1 teams. So I'm excited personally to see next weekend and see what happens there. So next we'll jump into a current tournament, a tournament that's currently going on, World Cyber Arena 2017. It's a tournament that I kind of missed because it's the Southeast Asia, like I was saying before, but it wasn't something that's too crazy. The prize pool is only like 50,000 American, so really the prize pool is lower on the side of a lot of pro Dota scene type tournaments that I would talk about, and I only bring it up because there's a lot of really good teams in it, and a few teams that are actually going to TI. So, well, one team, I guess, it's just Execration, but it's currently still going on, and in 8 hours they will be having their next match, and it'll be the losers finals, obviously, and the grand finals. That's usually the last two matches. So we'll be having those two, and the 10 teams that were in this tournament were Moogle, which I haven't actually heard of them before. Everyone else I've actually heard a little bit of here and there, but Moogle, Mineski, Execration, Clutch Gamers, Geek Fam, Happyfeet, Regum, the Mongolz, 1020, sorry, getting sick, Young Minds, and Young Minds. Man. So, a lot of different matchups that have been had this tournament. We have in the losers final, we have Regum and Execration. They're facing off versus each other. In the grand finals, we have whoever wins that match, obviously, and Mineski. So not too big of a surprise there that Mineski and Execration are doing well, but it is great to see those guys kind of going into this tournament. And maybe if you haven't become a fan of Execration or haven't seen Execration, you can see a lot of their gameplay and the reason why that they're doing so well. It's kind of ironic that it's once again they're going up against these teams that have nothing to lose, so that's why they're kind of in the losers finals at this point instead of being in the winners finals, because they can't reveal everything and they just have to outplay the other team. So it's really interesting to watch them there tomorrow, or really today for some of you probably, in 8 hours. So that'll be interesting to watch. We also have the Virtus.Pro Contracts. So the Virtus.Pro Contracts, and kind of what I was being so secretive about before, I wasn't meaning it to be secretive, but Virtus.Pro has actually done maybe it's the first in history that I can think of, and it is an incredible step towards esports. And this is why I bring it up, is because it's such a great thing that they did this, but the Virtus.Pro organization actually took the side of the players, and the players all really enjoy playing with each other, so they actually signed on contracts for not only to the end of this year, but to the end of next year as well. So for a year and a half, they're going to stay together, which is unprecedented in Dota 2 at all. In the Dota 2 scene, your contract can always be torn up. You can always have problems with your teammates. There can always be switches, and everyone's fluid, and no one's on like a solid team for any reason because of that. Because teams break and come together all the time in Dota. So it's really great to see that there's some level of cooperation and togetherness and understanding that no other organization can bring. And that actually makes me a much bigger fan of Virtus.Pro, because they're willing to stick by each other through this and say, you know, we're pretty good for TI, and even if we don't win TI, that's okay, because we're going to win next TI. And we're going to do so because we believe in each other. So I'm very happy about this, and if you want to read the whole article, I actually posted that below, so you can read that below if you want. It's basically going to tell you the same thing. Alright, so we're going to move into the whole Courier Bug type thing. So I'm going to be switching over to that here real quick. I'm going to make my own lobby here and start it up, but I can kind of explain what's going on into the background. So I'm going to switch over to that real quick. Random my hero and get into the game. Okay, so and I got to switch it on for everyone at home. So go to TI predictions. Should be not there. Great. There we go. Alright. I was going to say, it works. Okay, so this works out. We can buy the courier and place it down. And we'll call this Courier A. And it's actually a chicken right now for all of those who are watching it instead of listening in. And I'm going to buy a bottle for this. It's just because they do it on the video, and its main use is for this. It's kind of a bottle courier trick, and it's something that I thought was really interesting. If you kind of want to just like skip past me doing it and showing you individually, there's a link to it, but there's kind of a reason why I didn't show the link, because it can be misleading, and I didn't want to just leave it at that. So it actually takes a whole couple minutes to actually get the courier back up. So we got one more minute to before I can actually show you what I mean. But how this works is, with Courier A, and we're going to call the chicken Courier A, if you have a courier, then you can actually buy another one and put it into your stash. And I will buy another one, and it will immediately go into my stash. And I can use, so that courier in the stash will actually be called Courier B. So then we take Courier B that's in stash, and we then move over to my Courier A into its actual inventory and things like that, and we then select it to move it into its inventory, and we use it. And actually, when you use it on the courier, when you use the Courier B on Courier A, you actually get the courier next to your character, even if he's really far away. So I'm actually going to show you. I'm going to drink up my bottle here, and I'm going to have a completely empty bottle. Okay? Then I'm going to go to well, I got 15 seconds. So maybe last hit one or two times. Oh, fail. But anyway, just kind of hang out here. You can kind of do this trick, and the reason why I wanted to show you this trick is because the possibility of you being able to courier while you're in the jungle. So there's a lot of times where you get pressured out of lane, and your matchup sucks, and maybe your captain sucked at drafting, and he just like puts you up against the worst matchup in the world. Or if you're playing like an SF and you're doing stacks in the jungle and you're needing to use mana anyway, and you're going to use your bottle, you can actually do this trick pretty simply while you're doing the stacks as you're further towards your base, but you still need to have that movement, because it's not going to be worth it to go all the way back, because you need to go back to lane to farm. So first off, I'm on my character. I have my character selected. I'm going to buy the animal courier, click it, so it's actually in my stash. So Courier B is in my stash. I then go over to Courier A, click on him, or you can, if you have it keybound, you can go over to it keybound, and then you grab all from stash. It'll then go into your courier's inventory. Obviously, everybody who plays Dota knows all this. But then you use it. So I'm going to use it real quick. And then as you can see,